terms of the shield battery, in terms of the cannon, for example. When it comes to build time, when it comes to effectiveness, I will say that especially when it comes to the shield battery, it has to be adjusted just because there's no NG overcharge, right? There's no NG overcharge for the Brood War Protoss. But here we go, we're jumping into our fresh best of 3 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Vermeer. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Brood War Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran. It is Kiwian, aka TOP. Going for the proxy. Let's go. We have our proxy very quickly here. Let's see if I can open up my Google Translate. Solar's usually very talkative. Very talkative. Oh, okay. So it looks like Solar, he was asking about I think the center hats. I think he was like what is this? What's going on? There we go. But here we go. We have the proxies in the center. Going to be proxy 3-Rax Mass Marine out of TOP, out of Kiwian. And Solar so far going Hatch Gas Pool standard opener out of our Zerg player. Now we have seen Solar die to proxy 3-Raxes in regular SC2 quite often, actually. Like it does work quite often against Solar, I should say that. A big part of this is going to be recognizing how many Raxes there are coming his way. The SCV so far has been scouted, and the Overlord will actually get eyes on the proxy. Remember, this is a 4-player spawn map. You can see the SCV scout towards top right. The Overlord was spotted, and now TOP Kiwian, he's aware of Solar's spawn location. He's aware. The Overlord will get away in time. So it does pull out, does pull away. Solar, he reacts with a Gas Geyser and a Roach Horn. There's a standard response for SC2, just going for one base Roach. We'll see if Solar can save the natural, though. That is the better question. Can he save the natural? Spine Crawler's on the way. Oh, no bunkers with this. Ooh, okay, so no bunker rush. The SCVs are here to tank. They're here to tank. More Marines are building up. Lings are trying to catch reinforcements, but there are too many. Oh my god, all the boys have been pulled. Let's pull all the boys. Let's go. Leaves only 4. Again, the natural will fall, but again, we can afford to lose it. To be honest, like Solar, he can afford to lose the natural. Spine Crawler getting in position. Roaches have to be careful not to be surrounded. You can see the cancellation on the Roach. Yeah, we'll have to cancel these units. Ooh, yep, cancels the Roach. And Solar, can he make his stand? He had to cancel 2 Roaches. There we go, let's pull the boys. Spine Crawler putting in a lot of work. Going for the Marines. And so far, Solar handling this well. Oh, but bleeds out a good amount of drones. That's going to be 5 drones going down. Roaches, they do focus on the Marines. They try to at least Ravager morphs in. And Solar holds. Yeah, Solar, he holds. We have more reinforcements coming in. Solar, he has to save his drones, and he does pull away. He does save his workers. Solar with a massive worker lead. GG gets called. The all-in fails, and Solar will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Solar, he does take the first game. Does take a lead in the series. Again, when it comes to the proxy, when it comes to the cheese, as we did mention, because Kiwian pulled the boys, killing the natural was not good enough. Killing the natural base was not good enough. Kiwian, he had to go further into the main base. Solar was able to buy enough time, get a Spine Crawler. I will say that it was a really good decision for Solar, to really smart decision, really risky move as well, to go for the Spine Crawler. If this was just a regular 3-Rax into a CC back at home, into a factory back at home, into a transition, then that Spine Crawler would have been a waste, to be honest. But no, he got the Spine Crawler up and running, and Kiwian happened to pull all the boys. He happened to commit into a full all-in by pulling all the workers. That meant, oh, the Spine Crawler was a big factor in that defense. It means that there was a lot of value there, and Solar, he was able to excel because of that. But also giving up on the natural was important, right? Preserving his resources, canceling the Roaches, and just making a stand in the main base. GG. GG, well played. So a solid read there by Solar to recognize that most likely Kiwian would just completely all in. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into Radion. Ooh, okay. I don't think I've casted on this map before. I'm a little bit unfamiliar. So in chat, every time I watch or hear these videos of pros giving their inputs on playing these tournaments about how they don't know about all the unit differences, I'm like, please, there's a wiki. I mean, sure, but like, I don't think, like, for example, Lambo, I don't think he was really I don't think he cared. Like, I don't think he was really concerned with like the intricacies of SC Evo. You can say like, oh, you could have looked it up. It's like, he was having fun. And I think that's how a lot of the pros approach it. At least those that like dip their toes in for the first time. Obviously, those that commit a little bit harder, I think they do, you know, do their due diligence and actually check out the wiki and look up the differences and even look up the meta. But Lambert, he had a very different approach. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game. This morning in the bottom right-hand corner of Radion, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the SC2 Zerg, leading the series 1-0. For Team Falcons, it is Solar. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Brood War Terran player. The Brood War Terran, the second 2 Terran, it is Kiwian. Then we do just a quick paycheck. I mean, kind of. Like, I would say that about the first time they play, right? Like, it's one of those things where I would say that Solar probably had the same approach. Hero as well, like Hero, Solar, Classic, right? When they first kind of dip their toes in, but like if you can hook him in, papi, then they start to care, right? Then they start to care. Like Solar, like he's become a lot more of an active player when it comes to StarCraft Evolution, and if you remember in the video, he even gave Lambo some advice when it comes to StarCraft Evolution as well. Like I'm sure he's one of those that did look into it and did like research and all that stuff, like delving into the meta, if not looking to shape the meta as well. Just gotta hook him in, Pat. There we go. For now, we do see Solo going for a very greedy build, going gasless, right? We do have a gasless opener here. It is going to be a hatchery into a pool into a third hatchery, so hyper greed out of Solar. Late gases, late link speed, late tech from our Zerg player. As Overlords do fan out, Solar, he does find a Kiwian spawn location. Kiwian sees the Overlord as well. They scout each other. Remember, welcome to Radion. It is a 4-player spawn map, and as I mentioned before, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time I'm casting on Radion. I think it's the first time. So 4-player spawn map, we do have our relatively secure natural bases. We do have a massive choke point coming in with the high ground elevation here to help support and defend this location. It is going to be double factory out of Kiwian going into most likely massive vulture. Very quickly, the third base option expanding towards your opponent looks really difficult. There is a choke point here. There's a high ground point of elevation. There's a lot of steam vents and side blockers. Interesting position here in the center. I don't think there are any ramps. Yeah, there's no points of elevation outside of side blockers. Okay. I bring that up just because, oh, hello, Kiwian. He knows where Solar is, by the way. Kiwian going for a ninja base. That's the Kiwian. Let's go. I mean, this is something you can do on 4-player spawn maps, right? The map is so huge. What are the chances, especially when Solar scouts you early on, that Solar ever checks top left? It's very low chance. So there's a high chance that Kiwian gets away with this. This is where ninja bases are more viable, I should say. Meanwhile, Solar, he's going for roaches. This is standard. Because Solar went gasless, because his gases were so late, you typically just skip link speed. You just skip link speed, you get into roaches. You can go back into link speed and link production in the mid game, but initially it is going to be roaches for Solar. Meanwhile, Solar, he doesn't see the floating racks yet. Spider Mines on the way, ion thrusters as well, going into massive vulture production. So the vultures are building up. When it comes to this northern base location, interesting. I mean, the 3 bases look pretty secure here, just because there's no way to harass in between the bases. We have a choke point here. This area here is relatively open, but the army should be in position here outside of the natural. Oh, the towers are new. Do you have some Zolnaga towers? Solar, he pokes out. This is a poke. Behind the Solar's droning. So Solar just poking in. We'll maybe get a vulture. Hey, gets one. Gets one, gets 2 vultures, and we're going to be trading here. I feel like this is a better trade for Kiwian. 2 Ravagers for 2 vultures. And catching out the final Roach. So again, better trade for the Terran. Meanwhile, Solar again working towards his lair, building up his Roach Ravager. This can turn into Ling main Roach Ravager. Solar, of course, confirms that it is going to be mech. And there's that ninja base we did mention earlier. I get a very low chance of Solar to check this location. As Vultures, they dive in. They're going for the mineral line. Gets one. Gets one drone. Gets one. Gets 2. 2 drones go down. Getting up to 3. I think it's a big factor why EU pros don't get invited though. Thing is, Koreans have a lot more attachment to Brood War than EU. I would disagree with that because we have had a lot of examples of Korean players playing for the first time that don't know what they're doing. If you remember, Byun was an example of that. When he first played, I think if you remember, he was Byun the player that had no idea that he loaded into like an island map. Like Hero's an example of that. Like Hero, when he first played. If you remember when he played in SC in StarCraft Evolution League, he was like, "Oh, it's my first time playing," and then we looked it up, and he played like in the previous Murloc King event, and like he just forgot, just forgot he had played the mod previously. So I don't think it's region based. I think there are examples of Koreans being the same. Who's another that's coming to mind? I know Creator, he did do his due diligence. I know that. Oh. Yeah, Solar, he is moving out. It's going into... Oh my god, sorry, I was a little bit distracted, but going into Swarm Host. Let's go. We have our Swarm Host building up. Against this more slower form of mech, I mean, Swarm Hosts do make plenty of sense. And we do have an area here where you can just lay siege upon the natural. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Swarm Hosts are going to be ideal. As Roaches to distract. Swarm Hosts, they're waddling in. Minefield, I mean, is spotted. Yeah, Roaches, they just clean up the minefield. Swarm Hosts are moving forward. And what are we going for? The natural, the third. Or even just the main. True, okay, yeah. Going for the production. Deviates over, does find the tanks. And diving on the tanks, getting 1, getting 2, getting up to 3 tanks. Up, gonna get that final tank. The boys are being pulled. The tanks are unsieged. And hitting the Roaches. Yeah, Roaches, they push forward. Piles here on the tank. 1 tank left, down to 0. And with that, Kiwian, he's broken. He's broken here at the natural. Again, the tanks all did full. There's just nothing left. We got a handful of vultures. Reinforce and stay rally towards the 3rd. Remember, there's no planetary. Oh. There's no planetary, no support either. Yo, let's go. We got some wraiths. Wraiths, they tickle ground units, unfortunately. And with that, Solar, he's came to the production. Solar, he's maxed out, breaks into the main. Gets on top of the factories. And with that, GG. GG gets called a Solar. He will claim the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played, Solar. He will claim the series here. He will take it 2-0. And so with that, we'll advance on to the semifinals. Again, Kiwian, he did have an interesting approach in the first game. As I mentioned before, it was unfortunate. It feels like maybe Solar's played against that from Kiwian before. Kiwian can be very cheesy, but for Solar to go for the spine crawler response was very, I mean, again, it just worked out beautifully for Solar to shut down the initial all-in game 1. Here in game 2, we saw Solar making full use of Swarm Host in a way that doesn't really work when it comes to StarCraft 2 Terran anymore. I mean, it kind of does now, but Battle Mech is a big part of StarCraft 2 Terran, which allows the Terran player to actually have some kind of map control, to have some kind of pressure, and to have a more mobile composition. Here, when it comes to Brood War Terran, being stuck with Vulture Tank, it is less mobile, it is more vulnerable to something like a Swarm Host, and there's a higher chance that the Zerg player is able to gain and maintain map control as well. So it takes a little bit longer for the Brood War Terran army to really build up. It's also unfortunate that he didn't scout, right? He was unaware of the Swarm Hosts that were coming his way. Otherwise, I'm sure we would have seen a reaction to that, would have seen maybe even a faster switch into Wraiths to try to focus them down and zone them away. But GG. GG, well played. With that, Solo will claim the series, and with that, we are now heading on over to our final quarterfinals match. Let's go. Up next is going to be a best of 3 between between Skillus and Tasia.